What's happening, everyone? Welcome back to the shop. Now, I was just in the workshop spraying a bit of WD-40 on some of the pliers and snips that I have in my tool belt, and I thought this might be a good opportunity to make a video about the hand tools that I use every day as an electrician. Over the last 20 years, I've used just about everything. I've carried just about everything. I used to carry a whole pile of tools. Now I've stripped it right back to just the bare essentials, to what I need. So I'll show you what I think is worth spending money on, what you probably don't need to spend money on, the tools that I really like, tools that I don't care too much about. And yeah, it might be an interesting video. These are the tools that I use every day to make money. So I'll take you through them. Right, let's start with what I actually carry my tools in then. This is a tote bag or tool bag. It's a Stanley Fat Max. It's one of those open top style bags where you just pop your tools in or strap them to the side. Keeps everything nice and light. And then I use a tool belt. All my hand tools are in this. My testers is on the front of it. It's easy to grab. I can just run to the back of the van, grab this out when I'm on a call out, or if I have to park the van somewhere where I can't get close to the job, grab my hand tools. 9 times out of 10 you can sort everything on a call out with what's in this. So it's nice and light and easy to grab. Again, this I try and keep as light as possible as well. I'll show you what's in it now in a second. I used to carry toolboxes like these and fill them full of tools, but they were a ton weight, they were a pain to carry, and they inevitably ended up full of stuff that you don't need. So I have 4 or 5 of these toolboxes that have just gathered absolute rubbish over the years. They're packed full of every kind of fixture and fitting, screws, broken things, drill bits. They're just dirt gatherers. So no longer do I use those tool bags. I just use everything into this tote bag, carry a few hand tools, and that's about it. I'd like to travel nice and light. So yeah, let's go through what's actually in the bag now. Right. Like I said, the bag itself is a Stanley Fat Max. I got this on special. I'm not particularly loyal to any kind of toolbox manufacturer or tool bag. Again, this is just a good bag. It carries everything I need to carry it in. Hacksaw on the front here. Don't spend a lot of money on hacksaws. It's the hacksaw blades that do all the work. So a good hacksaw blade in a bad hacksaw is still a good hacksaw. Level on the side, stability levels. It's worth spending a few pounds getting a good level. Stability levels, they're one of the best on the market, and they're not overly expensive. So good tools at a relatively cheap price. So stability level on the outside, it's handy to have a kind of handy level. Smaller level just here, should I need it. Inside in the bag then, I just carry a crimping tool. I have an RG45 crimping tool and a foam point crimping tool. Nice and simple. Again, there's very little in this bag. If you look inside it, you see it's nice and light. Some ear protection. A labeling machine. I'm always labeling stuff. Most of the jobs I work on, every single PowerPoint switch, everything has to be labeled with the circuit number the distribution board is fed from, so everything is easy to locate and find. So I'm always labeling things, so that stays with me. A square, a pry bar, my hammer. Again, these are all just generic tools, nothing special about them. A file, good measuring tape. This Milwaukee one is fantastic. My large insulated flathead screwdriver that doesn't really fit in my tool belt sits in here. I don't use it a lot, but when I need it, it's there. A set of Torx wrenches, a bushing spanner, an adjustable spanner, and then a punch down tool for, again, Cat 5s, Cat 6s, data cable and that kind of stuff. And that is all is in my toolbox. That's all I need to carry for most of the work I do. Again, everything else is in the van, spanners, socket sets, bits and pieces. I keep all my bits and pieces now with my Milwaukee pack-out organisers, so nothing gets thrown into my toolbox anymore. It gets organised in those organisers, and this is nice and light, easy to carry, and yeah, does the job. And with those few hand tools, I can do just about everything. So you really don't need to go mental and fill your toolbox up to the last. Organise your power tools, get some organiser trays for all your bits, screws and stuff, stick them in that. Keep your toolbox empty, and just keep the bare essential tools that you need in it. You will be a happier person at the end of the day, trust me, and that's 20 years of experience talking. So yeah, let me know in the comments below, what are your essential tools and what do you keep in your tool bag? Are you a toolbox man or a tote bag man? Let me know. Let's look at the tool belt, and this is where I'm a little bit more fussy on now when it comes to my tools. There's a certain brand of pliers that I like the best, and everything else just doesn't seem to measure up. So let's look at that next. Right, this is my tool belt, and this has been a very good servant to me over the years. This tool belt, believe it or not, is about 20 years old, and it has been used and abused, and as you can see, the leather is worn through here, so it's almost time for a new tool belt. So let me know in the comments, guys, if you use a tool belt, what do you recommend? I'm thinking about the new Milwaukee one, maybe, we'll see, but this is a DeWalt one. Again, I bought it nearly 20 years ago. It's a leather tool belt with a nice heavy duty belt on it, so it's nice and comfortable to carry. Like I said, it's served me well over the last 20 years, so maybe I'll just get one of these again, I don't know, but we'll see. So on the front of my tool belt is my Fluke Multimeter. This is a T600, or a T5000, sorry. I used to have a T600. These are fantastic testers. Just for quick diagnostics, volts, amps, continuity. You have it all in the 1 meter. It's nice, light and handy. And it's always good to test everything you're working on 2 or 3 times to make sure it's not live before you cut into it with your expensive pliers. I also carry in my pocket one of these voltage fingers. They're very handy. They light up red. You can just touch them off the side of the cable. If there's over 90 volts present, then this will light up. So it's another little handy diagnostic tool. Never rely on these on their own. Always test with your meter, and never ever rely on a phase tester. Don't use those things. If you have a screwdriver, those old phase tester type things, throw it in the bin. They're dead traps. They give false positives the whole time, false readings. You think there's no power there when there actually is. So yeah, throw them things in the bin. On to the rest of it then. Knife-wise, simple Stanley knife. Now I've carried every type of knife you can think of. I've had insulated knives, I've had expensive knives, and yeah, it's just a case of change of blade. Rather than spending hours sharpening a knife that you have to keep, you don't need an insulated knife as a sparks. I've never cut into a live cable with a knife. It never came up in the 20 years that I've been doing this. I've never had to strip a live cable. It just wouldn't do it. So a nice, simple, inexpensive Stanley knife. Change the blades regularly. You always have a sharp knife. It's nice and handy. In the tool belt itself then, on the side, just a nice little set of Allen keys, always handy to have. Various screwdrivers. I'm not particularly concerned about the make of screwdriver, so you can see there's kind of a hodgepodge of different makes here. As long as they're insulated and they're good quality. Screwdrivers get changed every couple of years. They wear out, they get broke up. These ones are kind of coming to the end of their life. A lot of flatheads are chipped, missing bits. Your Phillips and your Posi drives, they get worn down as well. So as you can see, there's a few different makes of different screwdrivers. They are all made in Germany, tend to make the best tools. Again, that screwdrivers, again, not overly loyal to any particular brand. As long as they're good quality and they're insulated, that's all matters to me. Pipe pliers, or pump pliers, sometimes as they're referred, just an adjustable pliers. Always having to have, carry a small light one like this, so it's not adding too much weight to your tool belt. You can grab everything from pipes to nuts with this thing, and when you're in a pinch, it can really get you out of a pinch. It's amazing what you can use it for, so it's always handy to have. Onto the pliers and the snips. This is where I am kind of fussy. So these are my favorite pliers. I've used, I think, every single make of pliers up to now. I've used CK, Hyupa, Torsman, NWS, Klein. I've used everything, and nothing compares to Knipex. There's nothing on the market, in my opinion, that are as good as these Knipex pliers. And like I say, I've used everything over the last 20 years. These ones now are probably 7 or 8 years old, and they're still like new, they're still flying, they'll still cut through anything. If you have a screw that's too long, it's not a bother. These pliers, they just snip through it, no problem. And I've done that loads of times with these pliers, and there's still no daylight in the blade, which is fantastic. Again, Knipex long nose pliers. My snips, I bought an NWS snips just because they were out of Knipex, and I was really stuck for a Knipex snips, or Forest snips. I like the larger ones, the same with the pliers. I use a larger pliers. I don't like the small type pliers. I have a few other pliers here I'll show you. So these are some of my older ones. That's the very first pliers I got as an apprentice, so that's why I kept them. These are CK. They're not a bad pliers. Again, they're made in Germany, but they're not a patch on Knipex. These are Torsman. Again, I'm not sure where Torsman are made. It doesn't say, but again, they're insulated pliers, but they couldn't hold a candle to Knipex. There's my last Knipex snips, which is what I wanted to replace. But as you can see, or you mightn't be able to see, it's kind of gubby. I snipped the live cable, and when you do that, that's the end of your snips or your pliers. And they're expensive enough, Knipex. They're a little bit dearer than everything else, but then they're a little bit better than everything else too. So yeah, so now I'm down to the NWS one. It's not bad, but again, it's just not Knipex. And believe me guys, I've used everything over the last 20 years, and yeah, just get Knipex. Spend that little bit extra because it is a little bit better. And tools, good tools don't cost you money. They make you money, especially when it's your trade. So that's almost everything that's in my tool belt then. So other than that, I would just have little taps. So there's a 2.5 tap, so 2.5 screws are what you would find in sockets and switches and stuff like that, socket boxes. Sometimes the grub screws and the grubs and the tabs, the threads get worn out, so it's always handy just to have one of those. And just a little 4mm tap then again 4mm screws get used a lot, and threads can get worn out, so it's handy just to have a little tap with you. On the side, that's just a little stubby Phillips. Sometimes you need a short screwdriver just to get in that stuff. Other than that then, there's not much else in there. There's only two little small screwdrivers, and that's my tool belt. As you can see, it's fairly worn out. I have a hole here. I suppose I could patch it with some leather, but I don't really want to throw it out just yet, because like I say, I have this with me for 20 years now working as an electrician, and it has not let me down. But let me know what you guys use, or what you guys use in the comments below, and what do you recommend, because I could be in the market for a new tool belt in the not so distant future. Right, just give you a little close up on the various tools. So they're the Knipex pliers, Knipex long nose pliers. That's the NWS one. Again, they're German made tools. They're pretty good quality, they're not bad, but like I say, it's not as good as my Knipex one, which is now got holes in it. Hopefully the camera's focused on that. It might not be, but yeah, that's now on the scrap heap. I need to get another one of those, but I suppose I'll wait till this one wears out. There's no point running off and just changing it just yet. But one thing I don't carry is a wire strippers, and I've never used, well, I have used them, and I've just always found them time consuming. Usually when I'm making off stuff or fixing sockets and switches and stuff, I have two screwdrivers with me and my pliers. And if I'm stripping cable like this, say twin and earth socket cable or lighting cable or whatever, just nip the side of it with the pliers, split it, catch the earth, and just pull it through, all with the pliers. Your cable is stripped, and then when it comes to stripping the ends of the cable, I always hold my pliers like this, 2 fingers in, 2 fingers out, so this finger stops the pliers closing too much, and once you get the feel of it, you can strip cables all day. Little ream around the side, and you never pinch the copper. So that's just practice, that's just years of practice. You get a feel for it, different cables, different types of insulation, you know exactly how much to squeeze. And again, it saves time. I've one tool in my hand for stripping the cable, making it off, bending it back, doing what I need to do, even if you want to double it back, nice and quick with the pliers. Again, it's all one tool. Here you go, ends of it ready to go into a socket or a light switch or whatever, and again, all I use is the pliers. So that's why I don't use an actual wire strippers. It's just the pliers, because it's one tool to do it all. And those Knipex pliers certainly do it all. Right, another very important part of what I use every day is the clothes that I'm wearing, and I get a hell of a lot of questions in the YouTube comments about these pants in particular. These are Snickers Rough Work 6303s. If you just Google Snickers Rough Work, you'll find them. This top is Snickers, my t-shirt is Snickers, my jacket is Snickers. I wear Snickers workwear because it just works, and they do all the in-between sizes. So if you're slightly taller, slightly bigger, a slightly odd shape, slightly smaller, they have pants that will fit you. They have every leg size with every waist size, and you can match any leg size to any waist size, which is fantastic. And they work. They're well thought out, they're well made, they last. I've tried every other brand. I could do a separate video alone just on these pants, so I'm not going to get too in depth into them. But every other manufacturer I've tried, the pants last 6 months before they fall apart. I have Snickers pants that are 4 years old and are still going strong, which is fantastic. And like at the end of the day, if the tool belt is getting a bit heavy, it's easy just drop your pliers on the floor or drop it in your pocket. You know, you have screwdrivers down your legs, pliers in the pocket, various zips. You can stick the knee pads in them if you want to. They're comfortable, the backs of them are ventilated, and like I say, they are tough and they fit, more importantly. Most of the other manufacturers, the legs are up around my ankles somewhere. So that's what these pants are. And again, I don't mind spending a little bit extra on your work clothes, because if you think about it, you can be 8, 10, 12 hours a day in your work clothes, 6, 7 days a week. And if you're complaining about spending a few pounds on the clothes that you wear the most, that's kind of ridiculous. Some guys will go out and spend €200 on a pair of jeans and they might wear it one Saturday out of every month. You know, so spend money on the clothes you wear the most and the ones that make you the money. That's your work clothes. Last but certainly not least is a torch. I always have a torch on me. So this is just a handy one. Light on the front and light on the top, and the clip on the back, so you can just clip it off your jacket there if you want. The clip is magnetic, the base is magnetic, the base is adjustable so you can stick it anywhere you want. It's a nice bright handy light and it's rechargeable by USB, so it's always charged up and with me in the pants. Last but not least is a Leatherman Wave. If you have a Leatherman, you're always ready for everything. These tools are fantastic, and especially the Wave. It's not the most expensive, it's not the cheapest, but I think for the price, it's the one with the most features. And this comes with a 25-year guarantee. No quibbles. If something breaks, and I've tested this before with other Leathermans, I've had something break on them, send them back and they just send you a new one. No problem. So yeah, if you have this with you, you always have a pliers, you always have a knife, and you always have screwdrivers. And they're pretty good quality too. So that sits in that pocket. So I always have some tools with me, no matter where I am, how far I am from the van, or how far I am from my hand tools. So that's almost it. Right, there we go. That has been my hand tools. I just thought I'd share the tools that I use every day with you, the tools I use to make money with, and share some of the knowledge that I've gained over the last 20 years when it comes to tools. I'm in the market for a new tool belt, so let me know in the comments, what are your favorite tools? What's your favorite manufacturer? What do you use every day in your particular trade? And can you recommend a tool belt for a Sparks? I know there's some Sparks watching these videos. I think a bunch of electricians have subscribed to this channel as well. So let me know what you guys use. I'm always interested to know that. I might do a part 2 to this video on the power tools that I use every day. I have a couple of tools that are coming up on the 20-year-old mark as well and are still going strong. So that might be an interesting video. I use a couple of different manufacturers, from Milwaukee to DeWalt to Bosch to a few others, and I'll show you all them tools. And again, they get used every single day. Yeah, so that's it. That's been my hand tools. I've been John McGrath. If this has been interesting to you, hit the like and subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one, guys. Take it easy.